When a simple romantic getaway turns into a Silicon Valley murder mystery for Peter Parker, how will he ever hope to get out of this one? Well, let's hop into the pages of Amazing Spider-Man issue number 19 and find out together, shall we? Alrighty then, it's the first issue back since the absolutely abysmal Dark Web story. And I don't think I'll shock anyone by saying that Peter has pretty much gotten on with his life like nothing has happened. In fact, he says he's happier now than he's ever been. His brand new job with Norman is putting more money in his pocket than he's used to. And things are even going good in his love life right now, seeing both Blackcat and Felicia Hardy both in their civilian mode and in their superhero mode. Yeah, you'll remember Peter asked her out a couple arcs ago very clumsily. Well, apparently now they're going strong and had a bunch of relationship development off-panel. I should also probably note that this and the next issue aren't actually being written by series regular Zeb Wells. Apparently he needs some time off to write the next big development in the Mary Jane Lost 6 Months storyline, so it looks like we're getting a 2-part filler story from the stalwart Joe Kelly. Oh, sorry, I meant to say a palate-cleansing 2-parter from the stalwart Joe Kelly. Got my notes mixed up. You know what, I actually shouldn't complain that much because for once it actually seems like Peter is an active participant in his own life for a change. I know, novel concept, am I right? Felicia, feeling that the relationship is going somewhere good, talks Peter into taking a couple days off so they can go skiing. Normally I would complain about Peter leaving New York City unprotected, but again, if you read Dark Web, literal demons from Limbo took over New York City and Spider-Man basically sat on the sidelines and did nothing, and the whole problem just sort of worked itself out. So there's no reason to think things won't just work themselves out on their own this time if there's a problem. There's also a really weird little aside here wherein Felicia asks Peter what story he told Aunt May to justify his absence, like he's not an adult man who can leave for the weekend with a woman if he wants. But of course, hey, whackety schmackety Peter, he told May that he was going away for some sort of programming convention, but May saw completely through his story and told him to take a raincoat. I should also add that it's still winter when this story takes place, and raincoat is often a euphemism for condom. So, you know, May is certainly letting the reader know what she thinks Peter's problem is as of recently. Oh, but it seems like Peter won't get to use that raincoat one way or another because, oh, what a twist. Turns out Mary Jane and her new man Paul are staying at the exact same ski resort. Wah, wah. By the Beyonder, we are officially at 80s sitcom level of comedy contrivance. Actually, credit where credit is due, the book did actually make me chuckle a little bit when we realized that Felicia and Paul only brought their significant others to this ski lodge on this weekend because they both got the same coupon on their app. Also, because Felicia and Paul are written like actual adults, they're able to get along with one another because, hey, they don't even know each other. It's only awkward between Mary Jane and Peter, and it's only awkward because of the missing 6 months that they still refuse to tell us what actually happened. To combat all of these feelings that Spider-Man is going through right now, Felicia and him decide to suit up and go for a trip around the mountain so that he can vent a little bit. Seriously, what does Blackcat actually get out of a relationship with Spider-Man anymore? All he's done is dump his problems onto her all story long. Furthermore, and I cannot stress this enough, Peter Parker is an adult man who continues to be written like a teenager. Oh no, my ex showed up with her new guy, what am I supposed to do? I don't know, man, frickin' deal with it. I don't have radioactive spider blood and I wouldn't act like this. And I'm a dude who hates confrontation. I regularly drink drinks in restaurants that I did not order. Now don't worry, just because we're this late in the comic book doesn't mean that anything super won't happen. You see, Blackcat and Spider-Man end up coming across White Rabbit being chased over the mountains by a group dressed like the Sinister Six. The two heroes assume that she's being attacked and jump on in to try and help out. Eventually, though, they realize that all of this is actually staged. You see, as it turns out, White Rabbit, who is joined by Kareem, the Tombstone henchman who Spider-Man saved all the way back in the very first arc, have put on this little expo so a bunch of Silicon Valley rich folk can spend the weekend playing with supervillain technology before they eventually sell it off to real supervillains and make a tidy profit 2 times over for Tombstone. Basically, it's like paintball but with more pumpkin bombs. At first, Blackcat and Spider-Man are horrified by this, but then they realize the Silicon Valley billionaires are actually big fans of theirs and invite them back to their fancy chalet for caviar. What follows is actually a bit of a moral conundrum. I mean, technically they're not hurting anyone right now. And even though White Rabbit and Kareem work for Tombstone, they're ultimately playing very nice right now, and Spider-Man could probably use a favor in the future. I mean, supervillains are gonna get their weapons one way or another, right? If not through White Rabbit and her connects through someone else. Once again, it seems like Peter's evening may actually have been saved. That is, of course, until we realize that Joe Kelly probably saw Glass Onion over the holidays like the rest of us. And what started as a fun-themed retreat for all these Silicon Valley folks quickly turns into its own Glass Onion-style murder mystery when the guy dressed as Mysterio ended up getting impaled. Here's the thing though, the cosplay Sinister Six can't let anyone outside the chalet know what they've been doing with their free time, and as such, they vow to kill White Rabbit, Spider-Man, and Blackcat to cover their tracks. Ugh, rich people, am I right, as the comic comes to a close? And so that was Amazing Spider-Man issue number 19, everybody, and while it was certainly worlds better than Dark Web, it still can't help but reek of a lot of the problems that are holding Spider-Man back currently, regardless of who's writing, Zeb Wells or anyone for that matter. Peter Parker as a character is just stuck in such a state of arrested development that it's almost comical at this point. The longer the whole mystery box of the missing 6 months and what actually happened between Peter and Mary Jane keeps getting drawn out, and honestly, the longer it goes on, the angrier I actually am at it. Honestly, at this point, I don't even know what they could reveal that could make any of this okay. I will admit the whole ski chalet murder mystery thing involving Spider-Man is actually kind of clever and an adventure type that you don't normally see Peter get himself involved in. I also would never think I'd hear myself say that I actually like the use of White Rabbit in this arc. She's given a surprising amount to do and shown a fair amount of moral complexity. She's bad, but she knows her limits, knows when to quit, and also has no loyalty to the other villain that she's supposedly working for. There's definitely something there, and there seems to be quite a concerted effort to try and make her more than just a fun drawing. Overall, I'd probably give this one a 7 out of 10, and a lot of that is me being generous for this just not being Dark Web anymore. Maybe we actually did need a little 2-part cleanser storyline after all.
Hey there everyone, Kate Joel again, and I just want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. It means a lot to me. And hey, if you enjoyed the book I covered in this issue and want some comics of your own, might I recommend Book Depository? It's my #1 place for shopping for comic book trades. You get a great price, and if you use my link down in the description, you'll actually be helping me out at the same time. You get something, I get something, everybody wins, right? So until next time everyone, I've been Joel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.